It was a cold November night when everything changed. I was driving home on Route 9, that desolate stretch of highway I'd traveled 1,000 times. The dashboard clock read 10:47 p.m. Fog crept across the asphalt like something alive, and I was alone with my thoughts and my guilt. I'd forgotten our anniversary. Again. Sarah had sent 3 texts asking when I'd be home. I'd promised midnight. The usual excuses, late presentation, demanding client, but the truth was uglier than that. The road was empty, until I saw them. Shadows in the mist at first, then clearer. A minivan with hazard lights blinking weakly, a man waving frantically, a woman holding a child wrapped in a blanket. Every instinct said, keep driving, don't stop for strangers. But something pulled me over. Maybe guilt, maybe the child, maybe I needed to feel like a good person for once. I stopped 30 feet ahead and rolled my window down halfway. "Thank God," the man gasped, jogging to my car. He was 40-something, dark jacket, desperate eyes. "Our van broke down, no signal. My wife's sick and our daughter has asthma. We just need to get to Millbrook, to a hospital." I looked past him. The woman was pale, leaning on the van. The little girl clutched a stuffed rabbit, looking small and vulnerable. "Millbrook's my town. 15 minutes. My brain screamed no. But I thought of Sarah, who volunteered at children's hospitals, who always helped, who deserved better than me. "Get in," I said. Relief washed over his face. "Thank God, you have no idea what this means." He waved them over. They had surprisingly little luggage for travelers, just 2 backpacks and a duffel bag. "I'm Marcus," he said, gripping my hand too firmly. "This is Claire and our daughter Emma." "I'm David. David Morrison." "David Morrison," he repeated slowly, tasting my name. "That's a good, strong name." Something felt off about how he said it, but I dismissed it. Claire settled into the back with Emma. The girl stared at me with ancient eyes, hugging her rabbit, too old for her face. "Everyone buckled? All set? We really appreciate this, David. Not many people stop anymore." "Yeah, well, I'd hope someone would help my family if we were stranded." "Do you have children?" Claire asked softly. "No, not yet. My wife and I have been talking about it." "Sarah must be worried," Marcus interrupted casually. "You being out this late." My hands tightened on the wheel. "How do you know my wife's name?" Silence. Just long enough to be wrong. Marcus laughed. "You mentioned her, didn't you, when you said you'd hope someone would help your family?" "I hadn't. I was certain." "Right," I said slowly, my pulse quickening. "Your anniversary is today," Emma said suddenly from the back seat. Her voice was clear, bright, wrong. "You forgot. You always forget." Ice flooded my veins. I looked in the rearview mirror. The girl stared back, expressionless. "Emma, honey, that's not polite," Claire said with amusement in her voice. "How could you possibly know that?" I demanded. "Lucky guess," Marcus said calmly. "November's popular for weddings. You have that guilty look." My heart hammered. "Who are you people?" "Tell me, David Morrison of 247 Elm Street," Claire continued. "What did you get Sarah? Or did you forget that too?" I slammed the brakes. The car skidded, stopped. My hand shook on the wheel. "Who the hell are you?" I turned to Marcus. "How do you know where I live?" "We know a lot more than your address, David," he said quietly. "We know about the gambling debts. We know about the $50,000 you borrowed from Victor Castellano 6 months ago. Money that you told Sarah was for a business investment. Money that's 3 months overdue." The world tilted. Victor Castellano. I hadn't heard that name spoken aloud in months. I don't know what you're talking about," I whispered. "Don't insult our intelligence." Claire leaned forward. "Victor sent us. Not directly. He doesn't do collections anymore. We're here to deliver a message." "A message?" "Victor is a businessman," Marcus continued conversationally. "He understands people fall behind, but 3 months without even a call? That's disrespectful." "I've been trying—" "Lying to your wife," Emma interrupted. "You told her the extra hours were for a promotion, but there is no promotion. You've been working night shifts at the warehouse on Industrial Road, 4 nights a week, midnight to 6. Sarah thinks you're at the gym." I felt sick. "Have you been following me?" 2 weeks. Learning your routines. Where you go, what you do. Like that 24-hour diner on Thursdays after your shift. Coffee black. Denver omelet. Same booth. Reading sports cores. Hiding the bags under your eyes before going home. What do you want?" My voice cracked.
"Victor wants his money," Claire said. "All of it. Plus interest. $73,500. 2 weeks." 2 weeks, I laughed bitterly. "I don't have half that." "Then find it," Marcus said simply. "Because the alternative isn't pleasant." "Is that a threat?" "It's reality. Victor's been patient, but patience has limits." I looked at Emma. "She's not really your daughter, is she? This whole thing, the broken van, the sick wife, the asthma, theater." Marcus smiled coldly. "The van actually did break down. Bad alternator. We'd been waiting an hour when you appeared like a gift. Victor says the best plans adapt to circumstances." "Emma," I asked. "My niece," Claire said. "Well compensated for her time, saving for college, wants to study theater. She's quite good, as you've seen." The little girl smiled at me. Suddenly, she looked like a miniature adult in costume. "What now?" I asked. "We're actually staying at the Comfort Inn in Millbrook," Marcus said. "We like staying close to assignments, keep an eye on things." "You mean, make sure I don't run?" "Running would be a mistake," Claire said softly. "A serious mistake. Victor has a long reach. You don't want to see what happens to runners." I drove in silence, mind spinning. The gambling had started innocently. Poker with coworkers, then online betting, casino trips disguised as conferences, the wins at first, that rush, then losses, desperate attempts to recover, the deepening hole. Finally, Victor Castellano, a name whispered in casino back rooms, a man who could help with cash flow issues. I'd been certain I could win it back, pay him off quickly, be done before Sarah knew. That was 6 months ago. Sarah doesn't know, does she? No. Will you tell her? Her parents are wealthy, retired doctors in Connecticut. They could help. The thought of involving Sarah and her parents made me physically ill. I'll figure it out. 2 weeks isn't long, David. Pride is expensive, more expensive than you can afford. We reached Millbrook. I pulled into the Comfort Inn parking lot. Nobody moved. The engine idled. I heard distant traffic. "David," Claire leaned forward. I smelled expensive perfume. "This isn't personal. We're just doing a job. But the people we work for don't accept excuses. They care about results." 2 weeks, Marcus repeated, opening his door. 73,500. Victor will send instructions. Emma was last out. She paused, looking at me with those 2 old eyes. "You should tell Sarah the truth. Secrets destroy things. And from what we've seen, she really loves you. She deserves better than lies." Then they were gone, disappearing into the hotel. My phone buzzed. Sarah. "Are you almost home?" "I'm still awake. Saved you some cake." Cake. She'd baked an anniversary cake. I stared at the hotel entrance where they'd vanished. They were up there watching, making sure I understood. I understood. I drove home, mind racing through impossible calculations. 73,000 in 2 weeks, between mortgage, car payments, loans, expenses. There was nothing left monthly. My second warehouse job had saved 8,000. Even working around the clock, I couldn't earn enough. Sarah's parents had money, but asking meant explaining everything. The gambling, the debt, the lies. It would destroy Sarah's image of me, her parents' respect, maybe our marriage. But what choice did I have? I pulled into our driveway at 11:47, 13 minutes before midnight. Our small cottage glowed warmly. Sarah had fallen in love with the hardwood floors, the big backyard for future children. I'd loved the affordability before I took out a second mortgage for gambling debts disguised as renovations. Sarah waited on the couch, reading. She looked up, face lighting with that smile that had captured me 7 years ago. Auburn hair and a messy bun, wearing my Christmas sweater. "You made it," she said, standing. Traffic was bad. The fog on Route 9. I was worried. She hugged me, and I felt worthless. She smelled like vanilla and cinnamon from baking. "Happy anniversary," she whispered. "Happy anniversary," I echoed, holding her, wondering how many more times I'd get to. She pulled back, studying my face. "Are you okay? You look pale." "Just tired. Long day." "Come on. I have cake and wine." The kitchen held a small celebration. 2 plates, 2 glasses, homemade chocolate cake reading 7 years in white icing. Fresh flowers in a vase. "Sarah, this is—" My voice caught. "I know you've been working hard. The promotion takes all your time. I wanted something nice, to remind us why we're building this life together. The promotion that didn't exist, the life built on lies." "I'm sorry I forgot," I said quietly. She kissed my cheek. "You're here now. That matters." We sat. Sarah talked about her day, a scared little boy at the hospital, the MRI machine, reading stories until he felt brave, her spring garden plans, Wednesday pottery classes.
I nodded and smiled appropriately, but my mind was in that car with Marcus, Claire, Emma, calculating impossible numbers, imagining what Victor would do when I couldn't pay. "David, you're not listening," Sarah said gently. "Sorry, just tired." She took my hand. "Is something wrong? Don't say you're just tired. I know you better. You've been distant for months, distracted. Sometimes I feel like you're carrying the world and won't let me help." This was the moment. I could tell her everything. Stop lying. Ask for help. Maybe save myself and us. But I said, "I'm fine, really. Just work stress. It'll pass." Disappointment flickered in her eyes. She squeezed my hand once, then released it. "Okay, if you say so." We finished cake in silence, earlier warmth evaporating into something cold and uncomfortable. "I'm going to bed," she said finally. "Coming?" "In a bit. Need to check emails." Another lie. No emails, just needing to be alone with panic and my approaching deadline. Sarah paused at the doorway, looking back. For a second, I thought she'd demand truth. Instead,
Don't stay up too late. I sat alone, staring at cake remains, trying to figure out how to find $73,000 in 14 days. Next morning, Sarah was already gone. A note. Early shift. Love you. S. I made coffee, pulled up accounts, credit statements, everything. After an hour of calculations, reality was stark. Even maxing every credit card, taking every possible loan, emptying savings and checking, maybe $30,000 total. That left $43,000 short, and Sarah would immediately notice drained accounts. I thought about running, disappearing, new name, starting over far away, but Marcus's words echoed. Victor has a long reach, and I couldn't do that to Sarah. My phone rang. Unknown number. David Morrison? A smooth, professional voice. Not Marcus. Who's this? Richard Chen, financial consultant. I understand you need assistance with substantial debt. My blood froze. How did you get this number? A mutual acquaintance suggested I might help. I specialize in difficult financial situations, people needing to raise money quickly and discreetly. Not interested, I said, moving to hang up. Mr. Morrison, please. I know you owe Victor Castellano $73,000. I know you have 2 weeks. And I know by conventional means there's no way you can raise it. I said nothing, gripping the phone painfully. I can help, continued Chen. I can provide the full amount, but nothing's free. You'd enter an arrangement with my organization, different terms, different timeline, but considerably more flexible than Mr. Castellano's requirements. What arrangement? We can discuss details in person. Are you available today, noon, at Riverside Cafe downtown? Every instinct screamed no. Don't compound one debt with another. But what choice did I have? How will I know you? I'll find you, Mr. Morrison. See you at noon. The line died. Riverside Cafe was trendy. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, young professionals with laptops. I arrived at 11:55, ordered unwanted coffee, chose a back table facing the entrance. At exactly noon, a man entered. Asian, mid-30s, impeccably tailored charcoal suit. He scanned the room, made eye contact, headed over. Mr. Morrison, extending his hand. Richard Chen. Firm, brief handshake. He sat, declining the waitress's coffee offer politely. Thank you for meeting me, he said, pulling out a leather portfolio. I'll be direct. You're in a difficult position. Victor Castellano isn't patient, and his collection methods are unpleasant. I'm offering an alternative. Owing you instead. Precisely, but better terms. My organization operates differently. We're not thugs. We're business people. We invest in people, expect returns, but we're reasonable about timelines and methods. What's the catch? Chen smiled. You'll owe more long-term. We'll provide $75,000 today. You repay $120,000 over 2 years, $5,000 monthly. I did quick math. $5,000 monthly was more than I could afford, but better than $73,000 in 2 weeks. If I miss a payment, we add interest and extend the timeline. We're flexible, Mr. Morrison. We understand life happens. What we don't tolerate is cheating or disappearing. As long as you're honest and making genuine effort, we work with you. Why do this? What's in it beyond interest? Chen's smile widened. We value building relationships with people who have potential. You work tech sales, correct? Mid-level management at Dataflow Solutions? We have interests in your industry. Having a contact inside a company like yours could be valuable. Nothing illegal, he added quickly. Just market insights, industry trends,
advanced knowledge of launches or partnerships, information giving us investment edges.
So that was it. Buying me. Turning me into an informant. A corporate spy. I need to think. Of course, Chen stood. But don't think too long. You have 13 days before Mr. Castellano expects payment. Trust me, you don't want to disappoint him. He placed a card on the table. Call when ready. Offer expires in 48 hours. He left smoothly, and I sat holding his card, feeling like I was drowning and someone offered a concrete life preserver. I didn't return to work. Called in sick, drove aimlessly, trying to clear my head, but clarity wouldn't come. Every option led to disaster. Around 3 p.m., I parked outside Sarah's hospital, watching doctors and nurses come and go, wondering if she was inside helping someone, being the good person she'd always been, the person I'd stopped being. My phone buzzed. Unknown number, text. Tick-tock, David. 13 days left. No signature, but I knew it was Marcus or Castellano's crew, letting me know they were watching. Always watching. I researched Victor Castellano online. Not much. A few local business articles, charity event photos where he appeared as a legitimate businessman and philanthropist. Nothing about loan sharking or collection. He was careful, professional, which made him more terrifying. Sarah came home around 6, exhausted. "Hey," dropping her bag. "I thought you had to work late." I'd forgotten my supposed schedule. They didn't need me. Got to leave early. She looked curious, deciding whether to push. Finally, "Okay. Want pizza?" Too tired to cook. We ate in front of the TV. Some mindless sitcom. Sarah fell asleep halfway through, head on my shoulder. I stayed perfectly still, watching her peaceful face, thinking about destroying everything we'd built. Around midnight, after carrying Sarah to bed, I went downstairs and pulled out Chen's card. Stared at it, turning it over. Then I made the call. "Mr. Morrison," Chen answered on the second ring, as if waiting. "Have you decided?" "I need guarantees. Exactly what you'll expect. The payments, but also this information. I need specifics." "Of course. Can you meet tomorrow morning? 8 a.m., same cafe?" "I have work." "Call in sick again. This is more important than work." He was right. What did my job matter if I ended up dead? "Fine. 8 a.m. "Excellent. I'll have the money ready. Cash, unmarked bills, easy to transport. You pay off Mr. Castellano and move on." After hanging up, I sat in darkness for hours watching shadows shift as cars passed. I thought about how I gotten here. Not just immediate circumstances, but the long chain of decisions leading to this moment. I thought about my father, who died when I was 16. He'd been a gambler too, though I hadn't understood as a kid. I just knew sometimes we had money, sometimes we didn't. Mom would cry in the kitchen late at night. We'd lost our house when I was 14, moved into a cramped apartment. I'd sworn I'd never be like him. Worked hard, good grades, earned a scholarship, built a career, married a wonderful woman, bought a house, done everything right. But here I was, following his footsteps anyway. The apple doesn't fall far. At 7:45 a.m., I left before Sarah woke. Left a note, "Early meeting." Another lie. Richard Chen was already at the cafe. Same back table. Next to him was a black leather briefcase containing my salvation and damnation equally. "Right on time," he said approvingly. "Please sit." I sat, eyes drawn to the briefcase. "Let's discuss terms," Chen said, pulling out a document. $75,000 provided today, repayment of $120,000 over 24 months. $5,000 monthly, due on the 1st. Standard late fees, but we're flexible if you communicate. I skimmed the contract. Surprisingly legitimate, professional, like something a real bank might use. And the information, I asked. Quarterly reports on data flows, product pipeline, major client acquisitions, planned partnerships or mergers. Nothing you wouldn't already know through your position. We're not asking you to hack systems or steal classified documents. Just share what you naturally come across. That's corporate espionage. That's market intelligence, Chen corrected. Happens every day in every industry. We're just more direct about it. If I get caught, I lose my job. Probably face criminal charges. Don't get caught. Be smart. We don't need detailed documents or recorded conversations, just insights, trends, information helping us make informed investments. Keep it casual, verbal, nothing leaving paper trails. I looked at the contract again, and then at the briefcase. $75,000. Enough to save my life, enough to doom my soul. If I can't make a payment, we work with you. Extend timeline, adjust terms. But Mr. Morrison, I need to be clear. While we're more civilized than Mr. Castellano, we're not without enforcement means. If you try cheating us, try disappearing or defaulting entirely, there will be consequences. Serious consequences. Understand?
I understood, trading one devil for another, slightly more polite devil. I need a pen. Chen smiled and produced an expensive fountain pen. I took it, took a breath, signed my name. David Morrison, in black ink, binding myself to 2 years of debt and betrayal. Chen countersigned, slid the briefcase across. It's all there. Count it if you'd like. I trust you, I said, though trust seemed ridiculous now. One more thing. Chen pulled out a phone. For you. Secure. Encrypted. Use it only to communicate with us. Once monthly, you'll receive a message requesting your report. Respond within 24 hours. Keep it charged and with you always. I took the phone, sleek and black, feeling heavier somehow, weighted with obligation. Welcome to the family, Mr. Morrison, Chen said, standing, extending his hand. I shook it, sealing my fate. I spent the day driving around with $75,000 in cash in my trunk. Felt paranoid, convinced every car at stoplights was a cop somehow knowing what I carried. Every person glancing at me could see my guilt. Finally, around 4 p.m., I received a text from Marcus's number. Warehouse on Industrial Road, Pier 7, 8 p.m. tonight. Come alone. Bring all of it. The handoff. I'd give Castellano his money, and he'd leave me alone. At least that nightmare would end, as I entered a new one with Chen's organization. I killed time at a movie theater, not watching the screen, just sitting in darkness trying to calm my nerves. At 7:30, I headed to the industrial district. Industrial Road was desolate. Old warehouses and manufacturing facilities, mostly abandoned. At night, perfect for my kind of transaction. Pier 7 was an old loading dock jutting into the river, attached to a warehouse that looked decades unused. Broken windows, graffiti, weeds through concrete cracks. 2 cars were already there, a black Mercedes and a white panel van. My headlights caught several figures by the pier. Marcus's tall frame immediately recognizable. I grabbed the briefcase from my trunk, hands shaking, walked towards them. David, Marcus greeted me, voice echoing in the empty space. Right on time. I knew you were smart. 4 of them. Marcus, Claire, no longer the worried mother, now in expensive designer clothes. Emma, the little girl who wasn't, wearing a leather jacket, looking bored. And a 4th person, a massive man, 6'5", built like a wrestler. I have the money, I said, holding up the briefcase. All of it, $73,500. Let's see, Marcus gestured for me to open it. I set the briefcase on my car hood and popped it open. Money organized in neat stacks, still banded. Marcus pulled out stacks, rifled through them, checking bills. He handed some to Claire. This went on for minutes, them methodically verifying the amount. Finally, Marcus nodded. "It's all here." He pulled out his phone, made a call. "Yeah, it's done. Full payment received." He paused, listening. "Yeah, I'll tell him." He hung up, looked at me. "Mr. Castellano wanted me to express his appreciation for your timely payment. He's pleased you took your obligation seriously." "So, we're done? The debt is cleared?" "The debt is cleared," Marcus confirmed. "You'll never hear from us again, David. As far as we're concerned, you don't exist." Relief washed over me so intensely I felt lightheaded. It was over. At least this part. "Can I give you advice?" Marcus asked, tone almost friendly. I looked at him warily. "What?" "Don't gamble anymore. Whatever you did to get this money, however you scraped it together, it cost you something, maybe a lot. Don't make the same mistake twice. The next person you borrow from might not be as reasonable as Mr. Castellano." The irony of receiving life advice from the man who'd terrorized me wasn't lost, but I nodded. "I'm done. Learned my lesson." "Good," Claire said, closing the briefcase with a decisive snap. "Because Marcus is right. Next time, you might not be lucky." Emma hadn't spoken, but as they started leaving, she looked back. "Did you tell Sarah?" "No." She shook her head, disappointed. "You should. Secrets like this don't stay buried. They come back." Then they were gone, driving away in expensive cars, leaving me alone on the pier with my relief and new problems. I drove home in a daze. I'd done it. Paid off Castellano. I was alive. Free. Sort of. Sarah was in bed reading when I got home around 9:30. "Hey, where were you? I tried calling." "Phone died. Had errands after work." She studied my face, questions forming. Then she sighed, went back to her book. "Okay." I showered, washing away cold fear sweat, climbed into bed beside her. She put her book aside, turned off the light. "David, I want to ask you something, and I need honesty." My heart pounded. "Okay."
Of all questions I'd prepared for, not that. "What? No, Sarah, no! Why would you think that?" "Because you're different. You've been different for months. Distant, secretive, coming home late, always on your phone, forgetting important things. And you look at me sometimes like you're guilty of something. So if you're seeing someone else, I need to know. I deserve to know." I pulled her close, feeling her tears against my chest. "I'm not having an affair. I swear on everything I love, I am not cheating on you." "Then what is it? Because something is very wrong and you won't tell me." This was it, the moment of truth. I could tell her everything. Gambling, debt, new debt, arrangement with Chen. Come clean and face consequences. But instead, it's just work stress. I know I've been distracted. I know I've been a terrible husband, but I promise I'm going to do better. Be better. She pulled away slightly. "That's not an answer, David. It's the only answer I have right now." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I love you, but I can't keep living like this, like I'm married to a stranger. Whatever's going on, you need to deal with it. Because us, we can't keep going like this." "I know. I'm sorry." She turned away, and we lay there in darkness, inches apart, but feeling like miles. I listened to her breathing slow as she fell asleep, and I stared at the ceiling, thinking about the encrypted phone in my jacket downstairs, thinking about quarterly reports I'd have to provide,
thinking about $5,000 I'd need in 3 weeks. Next morning, Sarah was already gone. Another early shift, another note. But this one was shorter. We need to talk. Tonight. S. My stomach dropped. She knew something was wrong, and she wasn't going to let it go. I had to figure out how to manage this, keep her from finding truth while somehow saving our marriage. I went to work, moving like a zombie. In a meeting about Q4 projections, I found myself actually paying attention for the first time in weeks, not because I cared, but because this was information Chen would want. Dataflow was planning a major product launch in February, a partnership with a European tech firm, an acquisition of a smaller competitor. I hated myself for cataloging it all, already thinking about passing information along, but I had made my choice. Signed the contract. This was my life now. Around 3 p.m., the encrypted phone buzzed. I went to the bathroom to check privately. A message. Welcome aboard. First report due November 30th. We'll be in touch with specifics. Enjoy your freedom from Mr. Castellano. I deleted the message and pocketed the phone. Looking at myself in the bathroom mirror, I looked tired, older than my 34 years. Lines that hadn't been there a year ago. What have you done? I whispered to my reflection. That evening I came home at exactly 6 p.m., determined to have the conversation Sarah wanted. To tell her something. Maybe not everything, but enough to ease her concerns. Enough to save us. But when I walked in, Sarah wasn't alone. Sitting on our couch were her parents, her father, Dr. Robert Chen, and I froze, my mind making a connection I should have made days ago. Chen. Richard Chen. David, Sarah said, her face blotchy from crying. My parents came to visit. Dad, tell him what you told me. Dr. Chen stood, expression grave. David, I need honesty. Have you been contacted by anyone claiming to be related to me? Anyone using the name Chen? My mouth dried. What? 2 days ago, someone made a large cash withdrawal from one of our investment accounts, $75,000. The bank flagged it as suspicious and contacted us. When we investigated, we found someone had used forged documents with Robert's signature. The police traced the withdrawal to a man named Richard Chen, no relation to me, but using my family name. He's apparently part of an organized fraud ring targeting people in financial trouble. They offer loans, but the money they're lending is actually stolen from other people, from people like us. The room spun. I grabbed a chair to steady myself. The police think he might be targeting people connected to us, people who might know about my parents' wealth. They asked if we knew anyone in financial trouble, anyone vulnerable to the scheme. She looked at me with tears and accusation. David, did someone approach you? Did someone offer you money? I couldn't speak, couldn't move. The enormity crashed down. I hadn't just taken money from some anonymous criminal organization. I'd taken money stolen from my own wife's parents, money Chen had stolen and used to trap me. Oh my God, Sarah whispered, seeing truth on my face. David, what did you do?
Her father stepped forward. Son, if you've gotten involved with these people, you need to tell us now. We can help you, but you have to be honest. And finally, after months of lies, after months of digging deeper, I told them everything. The gambling, the debt to Castellano, the meeting with Richard Chen, the $75,000, the contract,
The encrypted phone. All of it. Sarah sank onto the couch, face in hands. Her mother sat beside her, arm around shoulders. Her father just stood there, expressions cycling through shock, anger, finally something like pity. "How much do you owe this Chen person?" he asked quietly. $120,000, over 2 years, $5,000 monthly. And you used our money, stolen from us, to pay off your gambling debt to a loan shark? I didn't know it was your money. I was desperate. They were going to kill me. You didn't know because you didn't ask. You didn't think about where the money came from. You just took it. Sarah looked up at me, and I'd never seen her look at me like that. Like I was a stranger. Like I was dangerous. "Get out," she said quietly. "Sarah, please, get out of my house," she screamed, standing. "Get out right now." "Sarah, we should call the police. They need to know about this." "No," Dr. Chen said firmly. "Not yet. David, here's what's happening. You're leaving. Tonight. You're finding somewhere else to stay. Tomorrow, you're coming to the police station with me, and you're telling them everything you told us. You're helping them catch these people. And then," he looked at Sarah, "then it's up to my daughter what happens next." "I can fix this," I said, tears streaming. "Please, I can fix this." "You can't fix this," Sarah said, voice breaking. "You can't fix 7 years of lies. You can't fix the fact that you stole from my parents. You can't fix who you've become." I wanted to argue, to beg, to make promises. But she was right. There was nothing I could say to make this better. I went upstairs and packed a bag, hands shaking so badly I could barely zip it. When I came back down, Sarah wouldn't look at me. Her parents stood like sentinels, making sure I actually left. At the door, I turned back one more time. "I love you." She finally looked at me, and her eyes were empty. "I don't think you do. I don't think you even know what love means." I left, got in my car, and drove until I found a cheap motel on the town's edge.